Today I was planning on taking a break talking about outrages, as the past week has been a high-speed rhetorical roller coaster. Remember those that brought up the talking point that freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequence? Well, that doesn't apply when it affects an art form they like, a cartoon or a movie series. Who was it that was so principled again? I will say this much though, without survival, we won't be able to assert our principles at all. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we seem to be at war and holding ourselves to two sets of standards while our adversaries hold themselves to none will only hold us back. How can we ever win if we play that way? More than ever before, the left needs to be held to their own book of rules. If you want to fight cultural Marxism, you will have to use their own tactics back at them. In fact, we should go over Alinsky's rules real quick, as these rules are not only a cornerstone of the strategy of the left, but also the key to stopping them. Number 1. Power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Number 2. Never go outside the expertise of your people. Number 3. Whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. Number 4. Make the enemy live up to their own book of rules. Number 5. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. Number 6. A good tactic is one your people enjoy. Number 7. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Number 8. Keep the pressure on. Number 9. The threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Number 10. The major premise for tactics is the development of operations that will maintain a constant pressure upon the opposition. Number 11. If you push a negative hard and deep enough, it will break through into its counterside. Number 12. The price for a successful attack is a constructive alternative. And number 13. Pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. Keep these rules in mind day to day as each new thing rises. Never give your adversary a courtesy they would not give to you. Your sense of moral superiority would not ensure your survival. Ask yourself this: would you rather survive or feel morally virtuous on your way to the gulag? Without survival, there is nothing. Don't fall for their rhetorical traps, their insistence that if you fight back at all, you're no better than them. No, you are better than them, which is why they don't want you to fight. That's why we will win. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, it's time to talk about Mad Maxine. How would this woman ever enter into the news this time? Allegations of fraud, encouraging accelerating a national divide? No, this time she has made the news because she says she was sent by God to take down Drumpf. She also says, reclaiming my time about 6 times in a row to the cheer of the audience. I don't know if anyone told her that you can't reclaim your time when you're not in session. Rules of congressional hearings don't extend to your everyday life. I mean, I'm just kidding. I know she's just reclaiming the meme that mocks her. If she is planning on running for 2020, that will certainly be her campaign's motto. I do have a clip of her speaking. It's 14 minutes long, and I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not in the mood to listen to her talk, and I will spare you as well. But if you want to listen to that, I'll leave a link below in the description so you can watch it for yourself. But here's a quote. They tend not to want to confront this president or even leave, but they know what they're doing is wrong. I want to tell you, these members of his cabinet who remain and try to defend him, they won't be able to go to a restaurant. They won't be able to go to a gas station. They're not going to be able to shop at a department store. They're going to protest. They're absolutely going to harass them until they decide that they're going to tell the president, no, I can't hang with you. You've got to know that I'm here to do the work that I was sent to do. And as Pastor said to me when I came in this morning, when God sends you to do something, you just do it. So I have a message. I'm going back to Washington tomorrow morning. I'm going to tell them, Pastor told me to come here and just do it. Doubling down, that is the Maxine Waters strategy. If Maxine Waters was sent in an act of divine intervention, I don't think she was sent to help the left. She would be a darling gift to the right. Next, we're going to be talking about Venezuela. As you have likely heard, Venezuela is a utopia of social policies. When Bernie Sanders needed proof that socialism works and works well, he praised Hugo Chavez and Venezuela. This is an example of how socialism works, he said, or something to that effect. As it turns out, though, over the last year there have been political rivals arrested by authorities, massive food shortages to the point of zoos getting robbed. You know, the type of thing that happens when you hand over production responsibilities to bureaucrats. Can you imagine, even with our checks and balances present in our own nation, how things would work out if Congress was given the chore of handing out food? You have likely been to the DMV before, and this would likely be exactly what it would be like to get food for the family. The New York Times reports that Venezuela is projected to hit 1,000,000% inflation by the end of this year. To give you an idea of how bad it is, here's a bit from the article to put it into perspective. The prediction was eye-opening even for Venezuela's collapsing economy, 1,000,000% inflation by year's end, according to the International Monetary Fund. On Monday, the fund released a periodic estimate of growth and inflation rates around Latin America, a roundup that included neighbors like Chile, where inflation should be headed towards 3%, and Peru, where growth is predicted to hit 3.7%. But it is Venezuela that continues to chart a different course from neighbors, with an increasingly breakneck economic disintegration. Real gross domestic product, the value of goods and services produced in the economy and adjusted for inflation, is expected to fall by 18% in 2018, the third consecutive year of double-digit declines, the fund estimated. And then there is the 1,000,000% inflation. We are projecting a surge in inflation to 1,000,000% by the end of 2018 to signal that the situation in Venezuela is similar to that in Germany in 1923 or Zimbabwe in the late 2000s, the fund stated in its report. With Venezuela's government not releasing official figures, the fund's prediction gave a concrete number to a situation that the country has felt with increasing urgency this year. On the streets of Caracas, the capital, prices have skyrocketed to levels so high that many vendors now refuse to take bolivars banknotes, the national currency, because their value is eroding so fast. Some wealthy Venezuelans have turned to alternatives like Bitcoin. Store owners guessed the prices they should be charging for goods. Restaurant menus change weekly, and the price of the dollar sold on the black market has reached 3.5 million bolivars. Come to think of it, I have never seen one of these late-night experts on life or the Young Turks. I've never seen them actually go to Venezuela and Cuba on vacation. They might go there to work, but they never go there to enjoy the scenery. I wonder why that is. Selective reporting on their end, as is their typical modus operandi. Next, we will quickly comment on the latest in the Get on Your Knees NFL protest. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said on Wednesday that Cowboy players will be expected to stand for the national anthem this season and will not be allowed to hide in the locker room as the national anthem is played. Speaking as the Cowboys opened their training camp in Oxnard, California, Jones said the team had a policy to stand during renditions of the Star-Spangled Banner. Obviously, I wouldn't dare speak for any of the other owners, but as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned, you know where I stand, and our team knows where I stand on the issue, Jones told reporters. Our policy is that you stand for the anthem. Toe the line. Already, I'm sure you can taste the air where you're sitting. The world just got entirely more salty. The same people just yesterday said that you do have freedom of speech in regards to Gunn and Harmon, and Adult Swim and Disney has every right to stand behind their employees, and they should, even if their brand is tarnished by their actions. Now, those same people are saying the NFL can't ask their employees to stand for the national anthem, even if it hurts their image. They flip-flopped from the Roseanne question, and now they've flip-flopped yet again, saying the NFL needs to stand behind their players, because of freedom of speech. These protests are a bad idea for their business, as ticket sales from the last season have demonstrated. Empty stadiums year-round. It's obvious why. People who are into football are typically patriotic. Sure, there is a vocal minority of center leftists, but your typical Antifa person, for example, wouldn't go anywhere near a football game, and that has more or less been the group that the NFL has been catering to. I have said this before, but I will say it again. I want the NFL to fail so that something better can take its place. Imagine a variation of football with ways for the audience to interact. Maybe send in donations to cause obstacles to pop up. I'm thinking part American Gladiator, part rugby. Fast-paced entertainment to play to the ADHD of the new generation. The NFL is not too big to fail, and we should allow the free markets to decide their fate. Well, what's left of the free market. Finally, we will conclude with a press release from the European Commission. Already today, the United States and the European Union have a $1 trillion bilateral trade relationship, the largest economic relationship in the world. We want to further strengthen this trade relationship to the benefit of all American and European citizens. This is why we agreed today, first of all, to work together toward zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, and zero subsidies on non-auto industrial goods. We will work to reduce barriers and increase trade in services, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, medical products, as well as soybeans. The absolute state of the EU, ranked up there with medical products, are soybeans. Good to know that the EU is putting priorities where they ought to be. As far as the news of this myself, I don't really care to give an analysis on how this will help the US. Not only that, I don't really think I have the knowledge to have a proper perspective on it. But I saw a good opportunity to point and laugh yet again at the EU. Sure, our citizens want out, but we want our citizens to have more soy. Never soy, not once. That will be the end of this video, but now here it is, your moment of clarity. My mom just came into my room to bring me a plate of chicken nuggets, and I literally screamed at her and hit the plate of chicken nuggets out of her hand. She started yelling and swearing at me, and I slammed the door on her. I'm so distressed right now, and I don't know what to do. I didn't mean to do that to my mom, but I'm literally in shock from the results tonight.